joined by Tennessee head coach Kellie Harper. She'll begin with an opening statement, and then we'll go to questions. Coach?
Oh, yeah, I want to thank our fans for coming out on a Thursday night and enjoying some good basketball. It's tough that you don't, as a competitor, you don't feel like you want to have moral victories, but I'm proud of our team and our effort and our focus for the majority of the game. Obviously, South Carolina is undefeated for a reason. They are super talented. They don't have a lot of weaknesses. If we could go back and do it again, we that fourth quarter, obviously, I didn't think we were as aggressive as we needed to be, and kind of got away from us on the offensive boards on the other end.
Maria and then Cora.
Coach, what's your message to the team after a game like this, where they competed in a way that probably one of the best they've competed in this season, particularly against the size of South Carolina. Like you said, you want the win, but what's your message to them coming out of this game?
Yeah, it really was kind of the same thing there. If you have a loss, you want some closure, so you want some reasoning, and we talked a little bit about what that looked like. But I also challenged them to let that be our standard. Let that be the standard for us defensively, and let that be the standard for us with our mental focus, and to learn from that experience and grow as a team.
Cora and Casey.
Rakia was in here talking earlier about I asked her about her performance. There was moments where it just felt like she really showed up to meet the moment of this game, whether it was not just offensively, but a block, a huge rebound. And she was talking about she coming off the injury, tends to second guess herself maybe, is afraid of re-injury. And just where have you seen that growth for her in maybe letting go of that a little bit tonight and showing what she's capable of and what more she's capable of?
Yeah, I think she's been a little bit more comfortable recently. I heard her mention she's been getting in the gym, and there's no doubt there's a correlation there. But listen, she's been in big games before. She's going to be in a lot of big games in her career. She's that talented. She had some great plays out there today. I think she just ran out of gas, to be quite honest with you, in that fourth quarter. But she's a talent, and she can affect the game in so many ways, and I'm proud of her growth.
Casey, Jack, and John.
Rakia also mentioned that when this team puts their mind to it, they have the mentality that they can beat anybody. Just how did you see that on display here tonight, before and during the game?
Yeah, I thought their focus has been great the last couple of days. They've been right where we wanted them to be as a coaching staff. Watching them, I thought they had really good focus to start the game. And one of the things that we talked about was not getting too high or too low emotionally in that game, because that could absolutely drain you. And I thought they handled that. They handled the emotion of a big game like this. And, I think the mentality was where we wanted, and they felt good about that. And that's when you have a lot of confidence.
Jack.
Coach, how impactful was Jasmine's performance on the boards?
She's doing a really good job of battling. She's oftentimes the smallest player on the court, but she'll get in there and battle. She does a good job. We need her rebounding. A lot of times our posts are locked up and battling, and we need somebody to go clean it up. We need somebody to go grab that loose ball, grab that board, and she's been able to do it a lot.
Kellie, your players have talked about focus. When we're focused, we can beat anybody. Is that a problem with this team, where it's not focused in games?
I think our focus tonight was at a different level. I think it was at a more elite level, and I think we've been growing into that. And our toughness was there, and that's an area we knew we needed to grow throughout the year. We've gotten better, and I do think that's one of the tougher games we've played.
Cora and then Maria.
This felt like maybe the best all-around effort I've seen from the team all year in terms of battling for every rebound, fighting for every loose ball, and chasing all of those down. Just what do you feel like your team showed you in those areas of the game tonight? How much do you feel like it affected your guys' ability to stay in it?
Yeah, I think we won a lot of loose balls, especially in the first half. I thought we gave some extra effort in the first half. We got our hands on a lot of balls. Defensively, we were doing a really good job keeping them off the boards. All that's toughness and awareness. And so that's the area we have been working so hard on. We have emphasized that. We have stressed that, and I think we've seen some growth. Not just this game. We've seen growth, but I think it was on full display today.
Maria, Ryan, Casey, and Karthik.
Sarah's contributions obviously show up in the box score, but her awareness in this game was at another level on both ends. Just talk about her performance, and then there were a couple of times it looks like they may have missed her, spotted up in the corner. Do you wish maybe that ball for a couple threes had gotten to her a little bit more?
Yeah, would like to have found a few more shots for her in the fourth quarter for sure. When we got a little bit stagnant, we weren't getting downhill. It'd been nice to try to find her. She was probably open a few times. Look, you got to give South Carolina's defense some credit there, because they're keeping you under duress so much that sometimes you can't even find the open player. But Sarah has been doing a really good job in working on that awareness that you talked about, especially on the defensive end, finding loose balls. Today, the stat sheet showed that Sarah played a really good basketball game here recently. She's been playing well, but hasn't always had the stats. Today, she did both, and we're proud of her. We think she's a really talented basketball player.
4 players played 35 plus minutes. Do you feel like fatigue played any sort of factor in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I do. I do. I think we were gassed in the fourth. We may need to be a little bit more strategic on some minutes played by some players. Throughout the game, moving forward. You don't want to be in this situation again where you maybe run out of gas in the fourth quarter. So we'll reevaluate that and assess that and see if what changes we could make. But I tell you what, they still played hard. That was heavy minutes, but they played hard, and I'm proud of them for hanging in there.
Casey, Karthik, and then Caleb.
What did you like the most about the Lady Vols' ability to keep up with South Carolina when a lot of other teams that have played them have kind of bowed out a lot earlier than you guys hung in tonight?
Yeah, well, we talked about that throughout the game, and we talked about what we needed to do. And, for us, we wanted to keep it our focus on the mental game, the mental part of the game, and not making mental errors. We didn't have a lot of mental breakdowns where, you missed an assignment defensively. Those, we didn't have as many. And there's no doubt there's a direct correlation to how we played for 32 minutes or so. So that's what we kept talking about throughout the game, that a lot of people just can't keep up mentally with how well they play.
Brother.
Coach, there were some stretches in the game offensively where I'm sure you guys would like to have been a little better. Obviously, South Carolina's a great defensive team. How do you maybe get the better offensive execution in playing with elite teams like this, and just also when you're at such a premium?
Yeah. I thought we were better when our pace, we talk about pace all the time, and that game was, it was grueling, but we were better when the pace was hotter. There's no doubt about it. When we walked the ball up the court, it was a little bit harder for us to find opportunities to score. And I thought we needed to get into our offense a little bit quicker at times. And then part of that was dictated by our defense. If they scored, we weren't getting the ball up the court as quick. And I think what we'll need to continue to work on is finding that pace, making sure we still have it, but when you are in a half-court set, being a little bit sharper at times. So I think we can clean up a few possessions offensively.
Cora and then John.
John was in here talking about earlier how, when they scout you guys, you can see the improvements like game to game and just how this team is improving. And, you know, some people think you need a lot of wins to feel good about yourself and prove that you're getting better. But just what do you feel like, or where do you feel like this team has improved the most over this, you know, most recent stretch? Or what sticks out to you about the way this team has just made those minor gains?
Yeah, we've definitely improved. We're a much improved team, and I think the majority of that's been on the defensive end. I think I mentioned earlier, I think our toughness has improved, our awareness has improved, our rebounding, our discipline there, I think that's improved. So, you know, all those areas that, is it where you want to be? I'm a coach, so it's never going to be where you want it to be, right? We're always going to critique everything. But I am proud of the improvement, and we can see the improvement. We just don't, I mean, it's not where we want it yet, right? We still want to continue to get better in a lot of areas.
Quick follow-up, just you're seeing all those behind the scenes, those improvements. Just did you feel like a game like this was coming for this team?
I honestly felt pretty good going into this game. I don't know how many coaches do feel good going into playing South Carolina, but the way our team practiced, the way we came off a really good win, how we've been locked in, I felt really good about it, to be honest with you. And I hate that it got away from us in the fourth quarter.
Let's go to John and then Kelly.
Kelly, a lot of teams look at South Carolina when they're really rolling and playing their best and looking so dominant, say they're unbeatable, which their record says they are. What would you tell somebody that's getting ready to play South Carolina?
Oh, goodness. You're going to have to play one of your best games, if not your best game, to beat them. They're that good. But, you know, they put the shoes on just like everybody else. And you're going to have to be physical. You're going to have to control the emotions of a game like that. You've got to make shots. You need to score. If you get some easy looks, you got to knock them down. And then defensively, you may have to. And everybody's matchup is a little bit different. You know, you may different teams match up with them, but you've got to have a game plan that your team can believe in.
Kelly.
Coach, how difficult is it to play against a team like South Carolina with so much depth that can roll in backups with little drop-offs?
I mean, Ashlyn Watkins coming off the bench is really good. I mean, really good. I was hoping they'd put her back on the bench. Boy, she is a difference maker. To me, and as good as everybody is on that team, I mean, they've got some really good players. Today, in my opinion, Ashlyn was the difference in the game. Whether that was her scoring, her rebounding, her defending, her ability to run up and down the floor. I thought she played really well. And she's coming off another game. She played really, really well against UConn. So, and that's a player coming off the bench. So their depth is very good, and they utilize it well.
Go next to Ryan, and then we'll close with Maria. Maybe take a question about the Vanderbilt game.
Looking ahead to that Vanderbilt game, it's your second time playing this year. I know you haven't jumped fully into that.
I haven't, but we'll go ahead, yeah.
But is there anything that you've seen different maybe from the first time you played them?
I have not watched them a whole lot since, maybe a couple games because we had a common opponent. I just know that was a very emotional game. It was a very physical game, tense. So we expect it to be a really tough game when we go over to Nashville. And, you know, you have to be, I think one of my big concerns is now bouncing back from this game, because this takes a lot out of you, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And we got to turn it around pretty quick. And it's going to be our third game in a week. So this is a huge stretch for us, a huge challenge for our basketball team to be mature and to flip this around and be ready to go on Sunday.
Close with Maria.
You just addressed a lot of it, the bounce back. Given the minutes logged in this game and 3 games this week, how do you prepare both rest and getting ready for that game with these next 2 days?
Right. Well, we have not had an off day yet. Our last off day was last Friday. So we've been going pretty long stretch, obviously, with 2 games in there. Tomorrow will be, we'll use tomorrow for recovery for a lot of our players. So we'll bring them in. We will watch some film tomorrow. But it won't be a typical practice because at this point, if I take a team over to Vanderbilt and they don't have their legs under them, it's not going to matter. So we've got to figure out a way to get the legs back under them. And our athletic training staff does an excellent job. So, have a lot of confidence in them. And players have to take care of themselves. They have to understand now, even when they're not in the gym, they've got to, they got to hydrate, they got to eat, they got to rest.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming.